In this video, we're going to revisit some of Fortnite's best Mythic-only items in the game's history, right? These are, in my opinion, some of the best weapons and items that cannot be found in any other rarity besides Mythic. This list will be Battle Royale items only, so no LTM or Blitz exclusives. And if you go on to enjoy this video, consider leaving it a like. And if you want to see me revisit some of Fortnite's worst Mythic-only items, I've got plenty of those, and I can absolutely do that for you. But with that being said, use code TYFRYZ at the Fortnite item shop, and let's get right into this one. Alright, so we've got to begin with the most obvious weapon to be on this list, and it's the Infinity Blade. Yes, the Infinity Blade deserves to be on this list because it was in public Battle Royale for about a week before they absolutely nuked it off the planet, and now it can only be found in limited time modes and Blitz, I believe. At least it could have been found in Blitz in a time. It is probably the best weapon in Fortnite history, right? Like, it's just so destructive. This should have never been in the game in the first place. That's why they absolutely nuked it off the planet after only a week. I can pretty confidently say that the Infinity Blade will never come back to the game, at least in public Battle Royale, of course. You guys all know the story of the Infinity Blade, so I don't really need to go in depth anymore. You knew it was going to be on this list, of course. It's a little bit of a cheap pick, but let's get into some more that you might have expected to be here. One of those items is waterbending. Waterbending was part of the Avatar collab in Chapter 5, and waterbending was really, really good. It was actually bad on launch, and they absolutely buffed it into oblivion. It became literally like you were using a burst AR, but better. I would say waterbending was probably pretty clearly the best Avatar mythic, right? The firebending and earthbending were really underwhelming if you ask me. And well, for airbending, we'll get into that a little bit later on this list. You'd be kind of surprised if you went to the list of all the Fortnite mythic items because there's not that many that are only mythic and that is it, right? They don't have any other weapons in that rarity. And so it's going to be a common trend for this list that almost all these items are actually going to be collab items, of course. Next up, we've got the Cybertron Cannon from Chapter 4, Season 3. The Cybertron Cannon was unbelievable. I really like it. I think it's one of the best explosive weapons of all time, and especially the fact that you get infinite ammo. Like, honestly, I think the Cybertron Cannon is better than just the regular RPG. Again, this item was part of the Transformers collab in that season. I love how you would actually wear it on your back as a back bling, then when you would pull it out, it would pull it off your back into the actual weapon. I'm not even the biggest fan of the Transformers IP as a whole, but I love the way they did this in Chapter 4, Season 3. And for me personally, it's one of the good things that I remember from a season that was otherwise pretty bad. Next up is the only non-collab item on this list, and it is the Mythic Goldfish. There is truly nothing else like the Mythic Goldfish in Fortnite history, right? You throw it at somebody, if you direct impact them, it will insta-kill them, right? Now look, I will say the Mythic Goldfish is not as good as for how rare it is, right? It should not be this rare. Yes, you can absolutely insta-delete anybody, but it's really not that easy to hit somebody. But of course, if you do, their game is instantly over, right? So any item that can do that, I mean, obviously, it's got to be on any list of the best mythic only items. It's a weapon that you don't really see get talked about ever because it's really hard to find it in Battle Royale, although I can confirm I actually did find it in Chapter 2. And most of the time you're going to see this, it's probably going to be in Reload. Let's take a quick trip back to Chapter 5 and talk about another Avatar collab item, that is airbending. Yeah, I think airbending kind of gets forgotten about in the grand scheme of Chapter 5 because Chapter 5 had a ton of really good mobility items. I'm thinking like the Nitro Fist in Season 3, War Machine's Hover Jets in Season 4, you had the aspect of agility in Season 2, and in Season 1 you had the Grapple Blade, the Flowberry Fizz, Shockwave Grenades, right? And airbending was so good, they essentially just remade it in Chapter 6, Season 3 with the Surf Cube, right? They basically function the exact same. This is a great mobility item. My only problem is obviously it leaves you a little bit vulnerable, but that's the trade-off you've got to take for literally being able to fly across the whole map in a single use. And we're going to continue the trend of mobility items on this list because we've got to talk about Spider-Man's web shooters. You know, you could throw Spider-Verse web shooters in here as well. They're the exact same thing. They're both mythic exclusive items. And yes, although the grapple glove does function almost identically to this, they are, completely different modeled items. The Spider-Man web shooters are not a mythic version of the grappler glove, right? And that's why this item is able to be on this list. Spider-Man web shooters, I don't really know how else to explain it other than if you were there in Chapter 3, Season 1, you know how fun, but also how simultaneously annoying they were to go up against. It's funny because any season that the web shooters have been in and the Spider-Verse web shooters, there has been a hit scan red dot sight AR that has kind of been able to counter it a little bit. In Chapter 3, you've got the MK, and in Chapter 4, you had the red eye assault rifle. But again, if you came to me on the street history and you're like, Ty, I've got one thing to say to you, Spider-Man web shooters are the best mobility item of all time, and walked off, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I can see this guy's argument. And as I said earlier, this list is almost all collab items, and so we've got to talk about the 3 destructive anime mythics. That is going to be Deku Smash, Hollow Purple, and the Kamehameha. I really hope I pronounce that right. I get grilled every single time about it, but you know what? We're doing this video in one take, so I'm not going back to fix it. These are some of the most overpowered weapons in Fortnite history. I knew they were going to be on this list, and in fact, they're honestly kind of the inspiration for this video. And I put all 3 of them together because they're all just kind of remakes of the same thing, right? You go up in the air, you deliver some absolute massive damage in some type of wave or beam or circle. I think it's fair to group them all together, especially because all 3 of them would have been on this list separately anyways. If you had to ask me, I would say Deku Smash is definitely the best, but again, I think you're going to do just fine with all 3 of them. All right, this is going to be a really interesting one. I'm actually going to go with Iron Man's Unibeam from Chapter 2, Season 4, and of course, all of the mythic superpowers from this season could be considered to be here. They are all mythic only, and you know what? I don't really know which one is the best. I'd probably say the Unibeam, and that is why I'm putting this here. But if you wanted to say either of the Doctor Doom mythics, or, you know, even like Thor's Mjolnir Strike or the Smash and Grab, they're all honestly very, very good in their own right. I think the Unibeam, just being able to pierce multiple layers of walls and doing so much damage is so good. This was always the superpower I was looking for in Chapter 2, Season 4. When I was dropping Stark Industries, right, I was gunning for this item. I didn't really care about the repulsor gauntlets. It's basically just kind of like a railgun on steroids. You know, I had to mention at least one of the mythic superpowers on this list today, and I'm going to go with the Unibeam. If you wanted to say any of the other ones I named, or any of the ones I didn't name, those are all fair game for this list as well. All right, we're going to move on to yet another trio of items, and it is the Nimbus Cloud, Silver Surfer's Board, and the Witch Broom. So yeah, of course, these 3 items function almost identically. That is why they are all here together, right? The Nimbus Cloud is your kind of anime item, the Silver Surfer Board is your mythic superpower, and the Witch Broom is just kind of in its own world. But at their core, they all let you redeploy your glider wherever you are and drop your glider wherever you are. And that is helpful, right? But I will say, I was hesitant to put these on this list because anytime I'm in the air in these new seasons of Fortnite, I am just getting absolutely destroyed by assault rifles with scopes. I'm looking at you, Hollow Twister, Twin Mag AR, MK7. But you've got to remember, right? Even think back to Silver Surfer's Board in Chapter 2, Season 4. You didn't have any scoped assault rifles besides the actual scoped AR, which sucked. And you know what? Fortnitemares is right around the corner from recording this video, so I would be surprised if we didn't see the Witch Broom return. And please, let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want to see me rank every single Halloween item in Fortnite history, or better yet, why don't I just rank every single Fortnitemares event? You can almost bank on that video coming out soon, so stay tuned for that one. Another item that I was kind of iffy about including on this list is the Wingshot Grappler from Chapter 6, Season 3. Now, I guess you could technically put the Batman Grappler here, the one from Season X, but the Wingshot Grappler has more uses and felt more impactful in that season. And of course, I'm mainly referring to before they patched the grapple trick, right? Or should I say the glider trick, being able to cancel your glider while using the Wingshot Grappler. Because of course, the worst part about this was actually that you did deploy your glider and there's no way to get out of it, but you had insane range. And of course, yeah, you guys all know the glitch that you could do where you wouldn't deploy the glider and you just go flying through the air. Pair this with kill switch revolvers. You saw this combo all the time in Chapter 6, Season 3. It was devastating. And this item in Chapter 6, Season 3 was a crush for a little period of time, right? Like, it's almost like you had to have it. If you're going up against someone who had it, you wanted to kill him because you wanted to get it yourself. And it's just one of a ton of mobility items in Chapter 6, Season 3, right? You think about it, you had the Surf Cube, you had Shockwave Grenades, you had the Base Boost. I mean, like, and there's even more, right? You had the Ascended Mist as well. Kind of insane if you think about it, because that was a season that on launch, I remember saying it felt like the mobility was kind of all over the place. But now it is time for the final selection of this video, guys. And my final pick for this list today, guys, it's very simple. It is the ODM gear. The ODM gear was part of the Attack on Titans collab in Chapter 4, Season 2, and they nailed it, right? They absolutely hit a home run with the ODM gear. It is certainly one of the community's most favorite items this game has ever seen. It is such a shame that we haven't seen it in so long, right? Like, I would love ODM gear to come back. It's a decent melee item, but an even better mobility item, arguably the best mobility item on this list, right? For me, I always go between ODM gear and Spider-Man web shooters. I mean, which one's better? that one's up for you to decide. It felt so nice just swinging through the air in Chapter 4 Season 2 and then just dropping on somebody with a Havoc Pump Shotgun. I mean, let me just say something. What a meta we had in Chapter 4 Season 2. I mean, we had the Havoc Pump Shotgun, we had the Overclock Pulse Rifle, Legendary Slurp Juice, the good Kinetic Blade, the ODM gear. I mean, yeah, I really missed Chapter 4 Season 2. This season was unbelievable, but of course, this video is about items and not Chapter 4 Season 2. I'll make an entire video about that season at some point. What a great item, absolutely had to be on this list, and so, of course, here it is. Alrighty, folks, I hope you went on to enjoy that quick video. Please let me know in the comment section down below whether you'd prefer, you know, the revisitation content or you like my ranking content better. I try to mix in both of them to keep things fresh, right? You don't want to watch 7 ranking videos in a week. And I'm uploading basically every single day, right? So I need new ideas constantly. So let me know in the comment section down below what topic you would like to see me revisit or what weapon class or items you would like to see me rank next, because I read every single comment. With that all being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, peace.